Hey everyone, and welcome to another video of the Buster Monkey. How are you guys doing? Today I'm back with a topic that I already talked about in the past, but mixed with something new. I'm talking about the Lasso Tool and textures. Oh, textures. We all love textures, right? I want to show you that combining the Lasso Tool together with some textures that we prepare ahead, you can achieve really cool results and complex things in half the time. To contextualize, this is another painting for a personal project on a very Italian looking location. I had lots of fun working on this painting, and to be honest with you, I was planning on some more epic lighting, but when I kind of reached this look of overcast and more tuned down lighting, I was like, okay, I really like this. I think I'm gonna stick with it, so I really hope you enjoy it too. Anyway, enough said, I'm gonna leave you to the painting, but just a quick reminder of subscribe if you haven't yet, like the video and share it if you really want to support me, and I really appreciate it, and this is it.
As always, I start with the basic shapes, establishing the grid of the perspective and the lens that I want to use. I always push it a little bit. This is a top view, slightly from the top, an action scene. I knew pretty much where I wanted to go with this, but I was discovering it along the way. It's all made with a Lasso Tool, especially at the beginning here, just blocking roughly shapes. I had a couple of references about building structures more than perspective or things like that. And I just kept going, dividing my layers as you guys know if you saw my previous videos. When I get to a good point, I start thinking about texture, and by starting this new document where I did this fence, this iron fence, my head started to roll on, okay, how does this wall look like? How does the forest look like once I put texture? The idea is to stay very graphic as always, but even more, I would say, in this stage. You can see the edges are all hard edges, so I made sure that all the brushes that I was using and all the textures that I was creating were following this rule of being graphic, simple, hard edges, and so on. As always, when I approach this kind of style, I start with lots of layers because I like to divide everything and have a lot of control. But along the way, I start merging things to keep this document lighter. This is a 6K, so of course I'm gonna scale it down later on. But it's good to have it huge for prints and stuff like that. So that's why I want to make sure that there's also enough detail also in the background and wherever I want to drive the eye. Because if this thing will ever happen to be printed big, or you know, somewhere where you have to analyze a little crop of it, you have enough detail. So as simple as that. I keep detailing the silhouette because it's very important, the silhouette of our landscape. Even if it's an urban landscape like this one, it's important to keep a nice flow. I put this bigger building on the right to kind of block your eye because we're traveling from left to right. You will see I have a couple of versions of this one, where one is more blurred, which is more like if it was an animated movie. You guys decide which one you like the most. I'm gonna soon start to paint the textures and start understanding the bricks and the variety of different materials that I want around all over my painting here. So I have some bigger ones, some smaller ones, some with a lot of textures, some very flat ones, lots of lines, and I knew that I would just create what I needed along the way throughout the whole process. So this is, for example, a very messy one that I could use for the asphalt or as a base on the walls. So basically, after having the flat part of the painting, the overall structure, the fun part really starts, because you start populating it with these textures, adapting them, of course, with light, with the angle of the face of the wall, or whatever it is that you are trying to tell and paint. But it's gonna be so much faster. So right now, actually, I was going downhill. I was way over 50% of this painting. And bricks are always fun because they can tell a lot of story. They can tell the age of that building, and you know, you can tell if it's something modern, if it's something old, historical, destroyed, abandoned, whatever it is. So it's cool to spend enough time after I put those bricks. You can see that I keep masking out things, I keep changing colors, and I just have an extra care for what that wall is, because I know it's a big part of the painting. It's right there on your face until I put this guy. Our protagonist here is being chased, or he's chasing someone. This is a specific moment in the story that I want to tell, and I, as you can see if you follow my series Killers, it's all over the place right now, but all the puzzle will come together. I'm trying to give some hints on the location, on the characters, and the rhythm of it, but most of all I'm also having fun creating these pieces and for you guys to explain my process around them. And you will also see that I keep copy and paste, like reusing the same textures that I created, and that's the fun of it, because you don't need to create everything from scratch, and that's actually a technique that all of us use in the industry to go also fast and have cool results. Of course, the more time you have, the best. We would love to be able to paint brick by brick in one go on the final painting, but that's the beauty of digital, that's the beauty of controlling things real time and being able to go back and change them many times. For example, if I want to change type of brick, if the art director says, hey, I need bigger rocks, bigger bricks, it's super easy because it's one layer that I turn off or delete and paste in bigger bricks, a texture that I create completely from scratch that it takes me probably 10 seconds. At the same time, I keep, as I said, adding differences and imperfections, so you don't have to notice that it's the same texture. Of course, that's the trick. But most of all, you want to make sure that the values keep working. It's easy to get lost in details. In fact, all the rules, composition, values, and the story moment, the story point, that's still applicable, you know? So let's not forget that the technique doesn't overstage all the other rules, okay? Composition and values, that's always the main part of the painting, because if you screw up those, who cares about the textures, you know? Everything is falling apart. It's basically like a beautiful building without fundamental. It's not standing up, you know. But I really wanted to show that with a simple idea and a pretty, I would say, a little bit complex scene, let's say. The challenge here was definitely to stay clean and readable even with all this detail. If being smart, creating just few textures you know, on the side of your painting can help you a lot along the way. And I did this for this urban and buildings scenario, but imagine that this could be done for a forest, for a sky. Imagine if you paint a few clouds and you start warping them, distorting them, and you know, creating different clouds from just maybe 2 or 3, create like 20 different or 30 or 40 different clouds from them. It's gonna save so much time. And here always my favorite part, which is text in paintings, which I try to make it look as random as possible, but it's always too straight and too perfect. But if you zoom in, you can see that it's handmade, which is fine. And in the blur version, you don't really see it. But here I start painting the ape, as we call it in Italy. You see that I keep changing color of these apes so many times just because I wasn't sure what I wanted. I like different colors, and my personal taste was overlapping the good idea, which is to make it blue, because it's very different from all the rest, and it's also gonna be connected just with the windows, and everything else is warm or green, warm green in this case. So blue is definitely the best choice. It's not my favorite color for this ape because I love a red ape. Google it, it's awesome. But anyway, for this particular painting, a blue ape is great, and let's just think that the guy that has it, if he didn't steal it, he probably likes blue. We're getting very close to the end. I'm just doing the last details in it again, because this is the subject, it needs the extra care. A little bit of smoke, I want it to be a little bit cartoony, even if it's graphic. Who cares? I like to have fun with these things, with these little details around here. A little bit of color correction, adjusting the values, adding this thing because I needed some red somehow. And you also saw the super quick blur version that I'm gonna post, so you will see it.
I wonder where the guy is going with the little ape, as we call it in Italy. It's a super cool small vehicle. It's very cool to move in those narrow streets. But this is it, guys. I hope you can see how efficient this method is. Of course, it's just one of the many techniques that you can use. I really have fun with it, and I mostly use this kind of thing when I paint urban environments. It saves a lot of time. Of course, check if it's applicable to your style. And of course, if I had all the time in the world, I would love to paint all the little details, but I mean, come on. to the next one, right? As always, let me know what you think about it. Thanks a lot for your support in the last videos, guys. Amazing, and I'm very happy and proud to hear that you guys are learning things and get inspired and come back with suggestions, so it's a back and forth thing here. Again, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Join the Discord. Don't forget to join the Discord. It's lots of fun. Check out my book and my prints in the ArtStation store, link in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.